I was born on August 20th, 1986, which coincides with the 15th day of the 7th lunar month. China has 4 ghost festivals, namely March 3rd, Qingming Festival, July 15th, and October 1st. Qingming Festival and October 1st are both days for visiting graves and paying respect to ancestors and loved ones. March 3rd, popular in the Jianghuai and Jiangnan regions, is said to be the day when ghosts and demons roam freely. However, July 15th, in some places July 14th, when the 6 paths open, the gates of hell open, and ghosts and evil spirits roam everywhere, is the day when the yin energy is at its strongest. Of course, these are all folk tales and there is no need to believe them. However, that day was both the folk ghost festival, the Taoist Zhongyuan festival, and the Buddhist Ulambana festival. Speaking of its special features, there was a certain reason. I started studying early, graduating from high school at the age of 16, 1 to 2 years younger than my classmates. This was not because I was smart early, but because the remote area lacked primary school students, and did not pay much attention to age when entering school. This also created a situation where I was still in a daze when I took the high school graduation exam, failed, and soon sank into society. I started working in 2002, outsiders were like water hyacinths, drifting everywhere. During the past 7 years, I have been to many places from Yiwu, Zhejiang, Foshan, Zhongshan, Donghuan, Zhuhai, Shenzhen of Guangdong. I was an ordinary worker in a factory, a foreman, a deputy manager. I sold fruit at a roadside stall. I was a chef at a Western-style pizza shop. I also worked as a steel worker on a construction site for a while. I worked as an insurance agent. I sold household appliances. Around 2005, I was even tricked by villagers to go to Hefei to work as a multi-level marketing salesman for a month. When I was at my poorest, I only ate 2 buns in 3 days. When I was at my richest, I had 2 apartments in Donghuan City and a small car. People who stay in one place in a small circle have no stories to tell. However, those who have been wandering in a foreign land for a long time, experiencing all the ups and downs of life, will have many stories, such as the romantic feelings that the crowd loves, such as the dark side of society, such as strange people and special events such as Donghuan. Among these stories, there are many that deserve to be told. However, I would like to first tell about an event that changed my life. At the end of August 2007, my grandmother fell seriously ill. When I was in Donghuan opening a jewelry store with someone else, I received the news and immediately returned home. At that time, I already owned a private car, a blue Passat. However, because I was not used to the traffic situation, I switched to a sleeper bus and went straight to our town. But at that time, I never thought that I would embark on a completely different path in life than before. My hometown is located in the southwest, an area of ethnic minorities, bordering Shaanxi in the east, the gateway to the great mountains of thousands of miles. When mentioning Shaanxi, some people will think of the ancient city of Phoenix in the work, Biantan, by writer Tram Tu. Some people will think of the city of Huaihoa, the traffic connecting the south and the north. Of course, some people will also think of the escape, poison and robbery in Shaanxi. Speaking of regions, we also consider them as a part of Shaanxi culture, a part of the radiation circle of folk customs. For example, like bandits, those who have seen Tuangxi Diet Quap Kai can imagine a little about the place we live. High mountains, green flowing water that is difficult to travel, and vicious people. Of course, it is mainly due to the rugged mountainous terrain, inconvenient transportation, large population and little land, and extreme poverty. Before liberation, many people in our mountains during the day held hoes and sickles to take care of the land and livestock, and at night sharpened their knives and went to rob roads. They were usually farmers who knew nothing but digging the ground to make a living, but when they went to rob roads, they became demons of the king of hell. This is a kind of profession and also a habit. Like ancient poison, for example, some people say this is feudal superstition. Well, let's consider it that way, because before I passed the age of 22, I and many people who had studied modern education like me, materialists, did not believe that ghosts, zombies, and strange, bizarre things existed in this world. Even though, in my hometown there are many such legends, even though my grandmother was a person who nurtured poison. In ancient China, especially in remote places, there were many people who had never been exposed to education. The people who held and spread knowledge were often religious figures such as Taoism, Buddhism, shamanism, along with many primitive religions of ethnic minorities, and these people were the ones who spread religion. My grandmother was a female shaman in the Miao village. The art of shamanism in Miaojiang combines many elements of magic, Chinese medicine, shamanic medicine. Some parts are reasonable for the locality, but there are also parts that are hard to believe, especially the magic of drinking water on a special kind of yellow paper, using chicken blood, gypsum, rice water and some other items to mix ink, write randomly, finally burn it and use the remaining ashes to mix water to drink. In my memory, my grandmother was a small, skinny, serious old lady, not much talkative. Her nose was as sharp as a kite's beak, her mouth had no teeth and her cheeks were drooping. She was over 80 years old, lived in the Miao village all her life, specialized in reading incense, a type of fortune-telling, curing diseases, exorcising ghosts and reading feng shui. The people within 10 miles and 8 villages all respected her very much. My mother told me that my grandmother had cancer, late-stage stomach cancer, and probably could not be cured. When the sleeper bus arrived at the town, it was already 7 p.m. There were no buses in this remote little town. The regular bus that passed through the town and the last town of the day was 5:30 p.m. I hurriedly found a shabby taxi, haggled with the driver, and finally arrived at the town where my family was staying after 2 hours. No one picked me up, so I went home by myself. The last time I went home was in early 2005, when I had just returned from the Hefei missionary station. In the blink of an eye, 2 years had passed. And since then I was no longer penniless and had some assets.